Beautiful Thursday. I hope everybody's all right. Having a good day. This is not a good day for T.I. and Tiny. This is a diabolical day for 50 Cent. 50 Cent has just announced the documentary will be happening when it comes to T.I. and Tiny. He said, I hope this doesn't mess up your tour because you're going to have to think about the 20 essay cases that I'm going to be putting on in this documentary. 50 Cent is that diabolical. And he did the same thing with P. Diddy. He stayed quiet. He didn't say nothing. He did the same thing with T.I. So basically, 50 Cent is going to come out with the documentary basically exploiting and exposing the accusations and the cases of T.I. and Tiny being hit with 20 cases of essays. That's how diabolical this man really is. It's like he is going to do whatever it takes now to eliminate and take out T.I. out the picture when it comes to him doing his tour, his album sales, the release of his album, and the expectations of this documentary is going to be diabolical. I know T.I. right now is mad as hell. I know T.I. right now is losing his mind. 50 Cent has just clarified and just said the documentary will be coming out. The documentary will be done by any means necessary. I am going to destroy you, T.I. By any means, I'm going to expose all 20 cases of SAs. T.I. is facing 20 sexual assault cases. And 50 Cent is this diabolical that he is going to make it happen. He is going to now expose every detail, every method, every disgusting act, everything that T.I. wanted to erase and not think about, and also not be exposed within these sexual assault charges and cases. 50 Cent is going to expose it. Now, T.I. has came out and T.I. has spoke about these 20 sexual assault cases and how there is no evidence, there's no proof. Sabrina, I don't know her last name, but that is T.I.'s friend, and also, Tiny's friend, who they know for a long time. She is going to come out in the documentary and expose this for 50 Cent. But 50 Cent got other things up his sleeve. And what I mean by that is, this is going to be damaging. This is going to be in results where I don't even know if T.I. can make it through surviving this type of shit. This is diabolical coming from 50 Cent. He is not going to rap, ladies and gentlemen. This man is going to put all 20 sexual assault cases that T.I. is facing out there. And the allegations are nasty. They're brutal. They're disrespectful. And I'm going to say this, I can't be biased. I can't sit here and not have any type of acknowledgement into saying that if these cases and allegations are true, and if T.I. is guilty, and he is literally, a part of that perspective, I can't see myself respecting T.I. no longer, but it has to be proven. It has to be shown. Evidence have to be out there. I'm just not gonna point the finger at T.I. and say you're that type of person. You're that type of dude. You're disgusting. You're another P Diddy. No, evidence has to be shown. Evidence has to be provided and shown by documentation, paperwork. Things have to be acknowledged to that fact. But right now, I know T.I. is literally saying to himself, damn it, man. If this dude does that, it's gonna fuck up my album sales. It's gonna fuck up my tour. It's gonna fuck up my bag. I might lose, contracts. I might lose, a lot of the access that I have when it comes to doing, distributions and things to that nature. And 50 Cent is very good at doing that when it comes time to destroy his opponent. And he just declared and he just said, I hope this doesn't mess up your tour. I hope this doesn't mess up your album sales, because you're going to need a PR team by the time I'm finished with you. Do you know how diabolical that is? To actually tell another man, I'm gonna destroy your life. I'm gonna destroy your reputation. I'm gonna destroy your image, your character, and who you say you are as a man. When basically what 50's saying, you're not a good husband. You're not a good father. You're not a good role model. You are a predator. You are a monster like P. Diddy and Jay-Z. And I'm going to expose it. And I'm going to put it out there for the world to see. And Sabrina, the woman who was supposed to take the settlement, were friends with T.I. and Tiny, is going to come out in a documentary. And she is going to literally give details, disgusting dates and facts of what took place, how it take place, who, what, where, woulda, shoulda, coulda, of every incident that she was in when T.I. allegedly forced and put drugs in their drinks and, allegedly inclined himself to behave in these sexual deviant acts, this disgusting nature of behaving with women. And Tiny was also a part of it. She conducted in these participations, and she knew what T.I. was doing, allegedly. You understand what I'm saying? And 50 Cent is now in preparation, not discussing it no more. That's why he's not speaking. That's why he's not saying much. Just like he did with the P. Diddy documentary. Everybody thought that he wasn't gonna do it. And bam, he hit everybody with a bomb. He hit everybody with the P. Diddy documentary. And now T.I. is saying to himself, if this man does that, even though T.I. is saying that the allegations and accusations are false narratives, because she just wants a bag, and the supposed women that are within the 20 SA cases are lying on me, are lying on my name because they want money. Well, 50 Cent says that he is going to prove T.I. wrong. He's going to prove Tiny wrong. And he's going to explore to the world how nasty and how disgusting of a man and how much of a predator T.I. really is. And that's the method and the metaphor of 50 Cent when it comes to him to just annihilating and destroying anybody that tries to face up with him or becomes his op or whoever has beef with him. This is my thing. This beef could have been resolved if 50 Cent would have just done the verses. But you know what? Now he's inclining to destroying T.I. for good. You know what I mean? For destroying his album sales and everything that T.I. is inclining to do. This is a perspective that Mr. 50 Cent is very known well for. He wants to go ahead and just expose T.I. to a point where no one has ever exposed him. You know what I'm saying? And for 50 Cent to give full details that it's 20 sexual assault cases that T.I. is facing, and that he was going to get ready to settle with Sabrina, one of the women that is accusing T.I. and Tiny, who were also friends with Sabrina. And now for her to say she's not taking the settlement, that was 50 Cent working behind the scenes to get that out the way. That was 50 Cent saying, you know what? You don't need to take that settlement. Let's put these people out there. Let's work together. Let's get every other woman that T.I. and Tiny into this documentary. And I need nothing but the truth, nothing but facts, nothing that is stated already with documentation and paperwork so I can put it in the documentary. And 50 Cent not only is working behind the scenes now to do the documentary, he is also trying to see if even T.I. kids were a part of that participation and them disgusting acts and, sexual performances with, women themselves, if they were forced to also commit these sexual deeds with him and Tiny and things to that nature. That's how diabolical 50 Cent is getting when it comes to this documentary. And in regards, I'm going to tell you something. T.I. is innocent until proven guilty. I can't be biased. I can't be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? T.I. is innocent until proven guilty. You know what I'm saying? Every man has skeletons in their closet, but 50 Cent wants to rip the closet out of T.I.'s life, personal life, perspective, image, persona, whatever you want to call it. But that's what 50 Cent is doing now. He's now working on the documentary, and I'm telling you, I know T.I. right now must be madder than a motherfucker. I know T.I. is maybe himself. Oh, says you want to come out with a documentary? Well, I'm going to come out with mine. I'm not really too sure how true that is, but I'm just thinking that in my mind because this shit is diabolical, y'all. This shit is really hitting the fan and it's really getting out of line. But I'm going to tell you something. If it is to save or to protect the women or to protect those that are innocent, that were forced and were really, put through that circumstance and situation by Mr. T.I. himself, then you know what? By all means, do what you got to do, 50. But in my eyes, he's innocent until proven guilty. So I'm not going to be biased with either or. But 50, you also got skeletons in your closet. We all know. Because in the beginning of your career, when you started blowing up, a lot of spicy and zesty shit was said about you. And then you coming out on radio stations and bobcasts with dildos and shit like that. So you see, this back and forth situation is really hitting a tone. And now that 50 Cent in his shit, which I'll be doing a video as well and showing the thumbnails and the picture of what he said. I just had to go live because this man just announced, I'm being quiet. I'm not saying nothing. So I hope that this doesn't mess up sales or your tour, and you're gonna need a PR team by the time that I'm done with exposing all your 20 sexual assault cases. 20. You know how many cases that is? 20 sexual assault cases? Bro, that is beyond nasty. That is beyond nasty work and diabolical. And if T.I. really did that to these women, how many women in these 20 sexual assault cases weren't taken advantage of, weren't being disrespected and forced to commit sexual acts and were drugged up with their acknowledgement or their permission and were taking, advantage of their, their privacy, and also without having any type of perspective of what was going on. They wasn't conscious to even reflect or even defend themselves. This is nasty work. And if it is true, man, you know what, T.I., you're going to lose not only fans, you're not going to lose only your bag, album sale, contracts when it comes to your brand. You're going to lose a lot of what you worked so hard for during the years of your career. And one thing that I can definitely say, I had a comment told me, at least 50 Cent said the truth about himself, but T.I. and Tiny's sexual allegations were discovered. They didn't say anything. They had to put them out there for it to be exposed. Well, what did 50 Cent baby mama do? So that wasn't discovered by 50 Cent baby mama, that she put it out there that that man used to beat my ass, that man tried to burn down the house when me and Marcus were sleeping in the household to try to kill both of us. Doesn't that mean anything to the person who sent the comment to me about T.I., you know what I'm saying, being discovered with T.I. while 50 Cent said the truth? Well, I give 50 Cent this, and it's still a disrespect. I don't respect 50 for that. He said he beat down his baby mama. You don't you don't beat down a woman that is having your child. I don't care how aggressive, how disrespectful a woman is. If you know that a woman is going to be like that, yo, turn your back, walk off. But now you're out here about to drop a documentary about T.I. and Tiny, and they have 20 sexual assault cases, and you're lining up all the alleged victims that were drugged, taken advantage of, that have no acknowledgement, that weren't conscious enough to defend themselves and fight T.I. off, and also to see if the kids were implemented and that type of participation. That is diabolical. And that's why I'm here to say, Ticket TV is not doing a live. And Carcino is also doing a live about this, and myself. All three of us right now, we're doing a live. Big up to Carcino and big up to Ticket TV. You know what I'm saying? Because we're keeping notice, and we're bringing y'all the news of what's going on. 20 sexual assault cases. 20. T.I. That is more than to put you in prison for the rest of your life. That is more than enough for you to never see the sunlight again. And if Tiny was implemented, she might get double-digit years, 25 to 30 years, depending of how disgusting and depending how deep the charges are and how many counts of the charges. Perfectly just signifies that 50 Cent is not playing with T.I. He is not taking T.I. for granted. He is literally letting T.I. know, you try me in tracks, you disrespect me in tracks, your sons try my deceased mother, now I'm going all in. Now I'm going to disrespect your life, your integrity, and who you are as a man, who you are as a husband, as a father, and as a career rapper within the industry itself. I did it to Mr. P. Diddy, I did it to Jay-Z, I did it to several others, so now I'm going to do it to you. My thing with 50 Cent is, if you doing it to to T.I. and Jay-Z like you did P. Diddy, why can't you do it to Donald Trump? Why can't you do it to Hugh Hefner? Why can't you do it to others within the different genre? Because you know that if your handler finds out that you're doing that with that other genre, you're going to lose everything. And that's why 50 Cent is smart enough to know, I'm not going to do that to Donald Trump. I'm not going to do that to Hugh Hefner. I'm not going to do that to the other section, because if I do, then my handler is going to make sure that I lose everything, like Drake is losing everything when it comes to UMG. But when it comes to P. Diddy, to Jay-Z, to T.I., and people within my same race and my same color, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to just discombobulate your life, your career, who you are as a father, who you are as a husband, and I'm going to embarrass you and humiliate you. If you're going to do that to me, why you don't do that with Donald Trump as well? Donald Trump is a serious sexual monster, a sexual predator, a sick individual, just like so many. Look at the Russian senator that was found dead in Moscow, that was, called out in the Epstein files, who were very good friends with P. Diddy and Jay-Z and Beyonce and several others. His daughter believes that he was taken out by the government because the FBI was closing in on him and they wanted to ask him questions about P. Diddy, but he defended P. Diddy. We're talking about the Russian senator that was found dead March the 2nd at 3 o'clock in the morning. Supposedly, he put a bullet on his head, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, he was pronounced dead. They couldn't revive him. So 50, so says, you putting your brothers out there like that, fuck P. Diddy. I don't care about P. Diddy. That's good for his ass. But you doing it to Jay-Z, now you're going to do it to T.I. Why you don't do Donald Trump? Why you don't do the job? If everybody that's involved within the Epstein file and the power that you have and the the perspectives that you carry, and you being a director and a producer and doing documentaries and doing shows, movies, why you don't put documentaries out there like that about senators, about governors, about mayors, and about people that work within the government like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and several others that have to do with the Epstein files too? And the reason why you don't want to do it is because you know you lose your bag, you'll lose your contracts, you'll lose your brand, and you lose way more than what you'll never anticipate. So now you're degrading and want to degrade and want to put T.I. to rest. You want to destroy his career, everything that T.I. worked hard for in his career. You want to diminish it. Why? Because he tried you in diss track. Because you did not want to rap with him in the verse. But if T.I. is found guilty, and if he is guilty of them 20 sexual assault cases, I will lose my respect for T.I. Let's call it for what it is. I can't be biased either. Because I got a mother and I got sisters, I got cousins. You know what I'm saying? And I got 2 goddaughters. And if any man is to ever do that to one of them, I'll go to prison for the rest of my life. Let's just call it for what it is. If any man will degrade themselves to what 50 Cent and the women are saying about T.I. and Tiny, I will go to prison for the rest of my life. And I will redo it again if they do it again. But 50 Cent now is coming out saying, get ready for the documentary. I hope this doesn't mess up your album sales, your brands, your contracts. You know what I'm saying? I hope this doesn't mess up anything that you work hard for, because you're going to need a PR team by the time I'm done with your ass. It says a lot. 50 Cent is literally going this diabolical. And I'm going to tell you something. It's going to come to a point that somebody's going to end up doing a documentary on 50 Cent. Just like they did it to R. Kelly, just like he did it to P. Diddy, just like he's working already or doing it to Jay-Z. Now he's doing it to T.I. But I don't see him doing one of Donald Trump. I don't see him doing one of Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't see him doing one of Ashton Kutcher. I don't see him doing one of any government officials, senators, mayors. I don't see him doing any of that. So, you see, in a way, he's giving us a wake-up call. This is what the industry is all about. But you should tell us what the government is about too. You got that power. You got that money. You're able to do things like that. But to go ahead and tell T.I. that and destroy T.I. and imagine of all the women say were lies, and you decide to destroy this man's life and career for no reason, and for you to be able to sleep good at night knowing that you destroy somebody's life out of lies, it speaks highly of you, 50 Cent. And I'm not saying that you're lying. I'm not saying that the so-called victims are lying. No, I wasn't there. You wasn't there. Only T.I., Tiny, and the alleged women, and Sabrina, who was the one who presented the charges and exposed T.I. and Tiny for this type of behavior, is the reason why T.I. and Tiny have 20, ladies and gentlemen, 20 sexual assault cases. That is diabolical. 20 assault cases? Damn, T.I., if this is true, you're losing everything. If you're found guilty and if Sabrina decides to take it to the Supreme Court and it's found that you and Tiny did this, You're losing everything, friend. You're losing everything you worked so hard for. And everything that you constructed and everything that you built will be for nothing. And 50 Cent's gonna sit back and laugh at everything. But 50, remember, karma is a bitch. Whatever you do in life, it will come back to hit you 10 times worse. So maybe there's somebody watching behind the scenes already doing a documentary surviving 50 Cent. You never know. There's somebody out there that hates your guts that much that they're same thing this Jay-Z, and now that's what you're doing to, you know what I'm saying, T.I. And I wonder what perspectives and what narratives and how many victims are going to come out in this documentary. Bruh, 20 sexual assault cases? Is it with just a couple of women? Or maybe multiple women, double-digit women? Maybe there were women that probably were minors? I don't know. The way the industry works is very dangerously and it's very disgusting. So you can't put nothing past that. You cannot just sit here and say, you know what? 20 sexual assault cases, T.I., and for these victims, so-called victims, you know what I'm saying, to actually come out in this documentary that 50 Cent's gonna do about you and Tiny, that's something to not only think about and only grasp for a minute, but imagine how many fucking people that are within the industry that you know about 50 that's probably whites or Latins like myself, because I'm Puerto Rican, Cuban, black, you know what I'm saying, are out there doing this to other women and minors that you know about, but you're deciding not to tell their story in their documentary because you only want to destroy your genre, your brothers, which your handler supports. Because if your handler finds out that you're going to do a documentary of Donald Trump or Epstein, or maybe even about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and government officials, you'll lose everything. You'll lose everything. So, you see, me, Carcino, Ticket TV, and many others, we are live right now doing this. Just bringing y'all a report and letting y'all know what's going on. And 50 Cent literally is telling T.I., I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to destroy everything you ever built. Because when it comes to 20 sexual assault cases, that means that you are as worse as Epstein, as P. Diddy, as Donald Trump, and the list goes on and on and on. But you only seem to do videos of black brothers, Mr. 50 Cent. And that's where I fall off with you. If people that are involved in the Epstein files are white, black, Latin, yellow, raspberry red, why not put everybody out there? Why not do documentaries on everybody out there? Why does it only have to be black brothers? That's what gets to me about you. That's my reasoning of why I'm not showing you the respect that you deserve, bro. Because everybody that's implemented in these horrific crimes, and especially disgusting sexual acts and perversity when it comes to this type of nature, they should all be exposed for their nasty criterias and their nasty acts when it comes to taking advantage of women, when it comes to drugging women, where they're unconscious enough to not even defend themselves. Do you understand the veracity and levels of that? 50 Cent? I'm gonna tell you something. I know some sisters that I grew up with, you know, and even homegirls that I grew up with that were raped and beaten and basically went through a relationship on that. Even though that past life has passed them, but they don't forget. They wake up in nightmares. They wake up crying. They wake up shaking. They wake up, you know, they're terrorized because it's still on their mind. They can picture it like it just happened yesterday. So instead of you just putting out there your brothers put out every race that has to be and are involved within the Epstein and P. Diddy and Jay-Z and others that are involved within the Epstein files. Put everybody out there. But as I can see, you only have one perspective. You only want to put your brothers out there. And this is the thing. It's been years. Says, T.I. has been hit with this. And, T.I. came out in a couple of lives and he stated, everything detail by detail in his own perspective and in his own way, that it was all a lie. It was, not real. It wasn't true. And all that Sabrina wanted was the bag. And that's why, because she was jealous. She was envious of Tiny and the way that him, and Tiny were living. And she wanted the same lifestyle. But I don't care how jealous or how envious a woman is. If you did take advantage of multiple women and drugged them to the point that they were not conscious enough and didn't have strength enough to fight you off, and you committed these devious acts on them, you should be held accountable. You should be responsible, and you should be implemented not only into being arrested and, being convicted, but also be exposed. But this is my thing with 50 Cent again. What skeletons you got hiding in your closet? What skeletons you have that we don't know about yet, 50 Cent? Says you want to go ahead and do that to T.I. and Tiny. Says you did it, what I'm saying? What's his name? P. Diddy. And you did it to Jay-Z. What is in your closet that you don't want us to know? Because from what I know, T.I. didn't call you a woman beater for no reason. Your baby mama just said that you try to kill her for no reason. With your child being in the house for no reason when the house was burned down. And how you said in one song that you beat the shit out your baby mama. So you see, what skeletons are you hiding in your closet, 50 Cent? That is my thing, because it's diabolical how you want to expose a brother, but your truth is in denial. What you do to women, it's not out there. But your baby mama is not being believed because everybody feels that she just wants your bag, that she just wants your money, that she just wants a settlement because she's struggling. I don't see your baby mama struggling. I don't see your baby mama living in the streets poor and homeless. I don't see Marcus struggling. I don't see Marcus going through bad trials and tribulations. So why would people lie about you like that? I know a lot of women, like I said in my previous videos, they're out there, they lie to get a bag, they trap men, they get pregnant, just to secure a bag. When it comes to millionaires, when it comes to athletes, when it comes to rappers, I understand that. That's very understandable. But when you have multiple peoples or multiple women saying the same thing about you, just like the 20 assault cases that they're saying about T.I. and Tiny, you have to take that in consideration. You have to sit there and say, you know what? 20 sexual assault cases? Come on, man. Not every woman is lying. They got to be saying the truth. At least one or two or three got to be saying the truth and saying it in the same detail, the same pattern, and the same perspective. Just like when women are saying that you are a savage with women 50, that you like to beat down on women 50, huh? So all the women are lying about you, just like Donald Trump says that all the women are lying about him when they accuse him of sexual assault. So all the women are lying to Donald Trump too, huh? So all the women are bullshitting about you. Come on, 50 Cent, man. Make clarity out this shit. You feel me? Let's just say that the 20 sexual assault cases that T.I. and Tiny's facing, they're false. And you destroy T.I.'s career, what he built, what he constructed throughout his career. How you gonna sleep at night knowing that you destroyed a brother that wasn't even like that? Let's just say allegedly. Let's just say that you construct and the victims, the so-called victims, sit there and lie on T.I. and Tiny, and all they wanted all along was a bag. How you gonna feel if you destroy T.I. to that level? And what about if somebody does a documentary on you, beating up on women, being savages with women, burning down houses when you got kids and a baby mama in them? How would you feel, 50? This is something that should be taken very seriously. You know what I'm saying? And it should be noted, and it should be reported, and it should be, acknowledged by everybody. You understand? Especially if you have a son or a daughter that are very talented and gifted, and if they're gifted in sports or whatever, and if they want to join the industry and be a part of the industry, these are consequences that they are going to face. These are consequences that they have to, be prepared for, because you don't know the industry's intentions. And for what we know, ever since the industry started, if you don't sell your soul to the devil, and if you don't follow rituals and, diabolical, what you call humiliation rituals, and if you don't obey your handler and the rules of what they imply you to do, these are consequences that you will face. Look at Michael Jackson. He was exposing Sony. He was exposing record labels, just like Prince. And look what happened to them. They both ended up dead. So my thing is this, 50. If you know that you got the evidence and proof, and you got the paperwork, and you got the, alleged victims, and you're going to come out with your documentary, make sure that you know that somebody is watching you, and they're going to do a documentary about you, that they're going to expose you as well, because you are a part of the industry as well. There's sacrifices that certain famous people, especially when you're on top of the Rushmore, have to do. Didn't you watch the Damon Wayans movie about the football movie? And how that quarterback had to stay on top, but he had to sacrifice and he had to endure so much shit to be able to be called the GOAT? And I think this is something that plays within the industry itself when it comes. You now trying to expose T.I. and Tiny. But when you hear the number, 20 sexual assault cases, it makes you cringe. It makes you feel like, damn, how much other shit that's out there that we don't know about? How many other women, how many other minors are being exploited towards this fucking behavior when it comes to celebrities, when it comes to rap stars, when it comes to actors, when it comes to government officials, when it comes to billionaires, when it comes to sick ass people, period. When it comes to things of this nature and behavior, how many others are not victims themselves? And I just want to go ahead and let everybody know. This is what we are seeing today. This is what is being exploited more today than ever before. And 50 is taking fully advantage of that. But he's only doing it towards his own race. Why you don't do that with whites? Why you don't do it with Latin people? And I'm Puerto Rican black. And I'm telling you, you are only doing it to black brothers. Do it with white people too. Do it with Latin people too. Whoever's involved in P. Diddy, Epstein, Donald Trump cases like this, expose all of them. You got the power to do so. You know what I'm saying? And I know you can work behind the scenes to exploit these type of people, these sickening type of people, but you only do it to black brothers. I mean, you see, it's like you contradicting yourself, because you know your handler is watching you. You know the man that pays you is fucking watching every step that you do. And if you commit a mistake like that, that's it for you. They're going to expose you just like they did with Drake. They will do you exactly like they did Drake. So, 50, since you're so diabolical and you want to go ahead and destroy T.I.'s life, which I know you're already working on it, Ticket TV's talking about it. Carcino's talking about it. I'm talking about it. As soon as I get more information of what's going on, I will bring it to the table. I will bring it to the world. You know what I'm saying? Just like Ticket TV and Carcino and several others. Because in reality, you're going to destroy somebody's life just because it wants to make you sleep good at night because of what you've been exposed for. But if you are correct, 50 Cent, and if the alleged victims of the 20 sexual assault cases that T.I. and Tiny are facing is true, is valid, and it's also 100% accurate with facts, then you know what? I have nothing to say. I will shut the fuck up and I will just leave it alone. But as of still of today, T.I. and Tiny are innocent. There is no evidence and proof. Sabrina and the other so-called victims allegedly, if they do decide to come out in a documentary and give full details of just a disgusting acts and disrespectful sexual behaviors and were taken advantage of, and if they can show evidence and proof, and if they can give full details just like you want them to do, just like you told Sabrina, do not take that settlement that T.I. and Tiny want to give you, because at one point that's what it looked like. It looked like, you know what I'm saying, they wanted to go ahead and take the settlement and Sabrina was going to agree to it and sign it. But 50 Cent went behind the scene and reached out to Sabrina and said, don't take it. Don't take it. I want to do a documentary. And with this documentary, not only will I help you with your court case, against T.I., but I'm also going to give you a bag for coming out. But I also need all the other alleged victims that supposedly and allegedly that T.I. and Tiny forced and drugged and did this too, just like you said that they did to you. So you see, and in a matter of weeks, we will find out what's gonna happen. Because remember, when 50 Cent did this to P. Diddy, it took him a couple of weeks. And then out of nowhere, we saw the documentary and it went straight to Netflix. So you see, if you have this partnership with Netflix, why you won't have this partnership with Netflix to do a documentary on Donald Trump, on Bill Clinton, on Hillary Clinton, on governors, on senators, on actors, on other rappers from other race, from other genres, from government officials? If you have this partnership with Netflix, you should be able to do it, 50, but you only doing it to your brothers. And that's why I don't respect you at, bro. But you know what? I can't also knock it because you are also exposing a nature and a world where disgusting acts to this fucking horrendous nature of people and individuals are conducting this and taking advantage of minors and kids and drugging them. So the same way you doing it with them, why you don't do it with everybody else? Do it with everybody else, 50. If you have that type of power, and if you know you got that contract and you got that connection with Netflix, and you know that you are a powerhouse when it comes to producing and directing and doing all that, why you don't put everybody out there? Why you don't expose everybody out? Why you just don't go ahead and say, you know what, might as well go all out? It's helping my peoples, and it's helping other races, and it's helping children, and it's helping parents, and it's also exposing to the world and the type of industry that I'm in. The sickening, fucking devilish and diabolical industry and career that I'm in and what I have to deal with, but I'm exposing it because I care. But instead, you're only doing it to your brothers. You're only doing it to men and black men only. That is my problem with you, 50. You don't want to expose no other race. And I'm not racist at all. I love blacks, whites, Latins. Shit, I'm Latin black myself. But when you only picking your genre to do this too, it speaks who you are. It shows who you are. and you actually maybe trying not to expose that other genre because you know they have so much on you and you don't want to be exposed to that level, that you only do and you only expose who you know that it's not gonna backlash, that it's not gonna fucking put you out there. You saw what they did to Drake. You saw what they did to P. Diddy. You saw what they did to others. And it can happen to you. And you don't want that done to you. So you know how to play your cards right. You know how to put shit together, and you know when to do it, how to do it, who, what, when, if, shoulda, woulda, coulda, and that's your main objective. You know how to fucking perfect it into a point where it's not gonna bite you back in your ass. It's not gonna deliver that karma that you're delivering to everybody else. And in my mind frame and in my thoughts, you have skeletons in your closet too. What are you hiding, 50 Cent? What is it that is scaring you so much that you only are exposing black men? Explain that to me, sir. What is that you don't want your handler to expose you in? Like you expose P. Diddy, Jay-Z, and now that you're doing to T.I. and Tiny. Expose everybody if that's the case, dog. If you really want to make a difference, expose everybody. And you know what? That's making a difference. That's helping everybody who's lost, who's not in touch, and it's not reflected in what's going on, and who is what, and who is who. You just doing it because you know that your handler is going to be happy. Just like Whack 100 has a handler, that's just like Whack 100 destroys his own brothers. Instead of destroying everybody that's implemented in whatever alleged or accusations that they're facing, he only decides to destroy his own brothers. So you see, 50, I'm not saying that you're wrong for it, because if T.I. is really guilty of the 20 again, y'all, 20 sexual assault cases along with Tiny, that's diabolical. And T.I. will lose his career. T.I. will go to prison for a long time. But what skeletons you hiding, 50? What is out there that you don't want the world to know about you? And as I know, and the world knows now, T.I. said that you were the victim when you was growing up, when you was in the streets, because you didn't have your mother's love. So maybe because you was disrespected the same way, well, in the same similar way, but just you disrespected a man's wife that had nothing to do with it. But says you feel that they disrespected your deceased mother, and once again, rest in peace to your mother who has nothing to do with this. Now you want to go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to expose your whole personal life. I'm going to expose what you're going through. I'm going to expose your nasty, disgusting sexual deeds and how you forced women, how you drugged them, and how you possessed it yourself to committing this disgusting acts and fucking criminal cases, to where I'm gonna make you bow down to me and say, damn, I should have never fucked with 50 Cent. But you know what? 50, everything in life, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You're not going to get away with everything that you prospectively do to other people, and especially just black brothers. Once again, I'm Latin black. But if you're going to expose people, expose everybody. White, black, Latin, orange, red, it doesn't matter. Everybody should be notice, and everybody should have the respect for you to see you exposing not only your culture, who are monsters and sexual predators like that, but everybody else, the billionaires, the governors, the senators, the actors, and the people that we can't see that run the government, that run close in this fucking nature, that should be, you know what I'm saying, exposed. Because you're just a cherry on the tip of the iceberg. You know how many sick individuals, 50, that you know that are within the industry itself, that are this type of way that you expose P. Diddy to be, which we know that P. Diddy's that disgusting. I hope he fucking dies in jail. I hope he never comes out. But how many people do you know that are white or another genre that you don't want to expose because you know you'll end up losing the battle? You will end up losing the war. And they're more powerful than you. And next thing you know, they'll start exposing you. Next thing you know, you start losing brands, you start losing contracts, you start losing movie deals. And next thing you know, you're going to be posted up in the streets talking about I'll work for food. So since you are doing this documentary on T.I. and Tiny, I believe you should do a documentary surviving Donald Trump. I believe you should do a documentary surviving Hillary and Bill Clinton. I believe you should do documentaries about senators and governors and billionaires and millionaires that have quotes, that conduct themselves and that have these type of rituals and have these type of freak-offs and parties that do this to people. You understand what I'm saying? So to me, it's kind of disrespectful that you only doing that with one race, your own race. You only doing that to black men. You should be able to do it to white people, Latin people, everybody. Everybody that's involved in these Epstein files. Anybody within the industry that you know that are like that, you should be able to expose them. Since you like to do documentaries. But what are you hiding in your closet, 250? Because now, we don't only know by your baby mama and also by you rapping the song how you beat the fuck out your baby mama and how your baby mama said you used to beat her down. Now it's believable. It's credible because you said it yourself in the song. And how she also said this man tried to, well, not try, how you burned down the house with her and Marcus, your firstborn child, in the house. So what others should you be exposing? Because literally, you don't want nobody to expose you to that level. So you're distracting the fact. What about if somebody, like I said before, is actually hiding, watching your every move, watching your every step, and gradually are preparing to doing a survival documentary about you? Then what, 50? What are you going to do? You're going to sit there and make excuses and implement shit that you know, that you can reverse, that you can't even contradict, that you can't make excuses for? We're talking about 20 sexual assault cases on T.I. and Tiny, allegedly, that they're being accused of. 20. That is no little number. That just ain't no fucking nick in the park. That ain't no fucking just little number that you can just digest and say, well, you know, it's no big deal. That's a fucking big deal, man. 20? And for Sabrina, who was the first, you know what I'm saying, woman to accuse T.I. of this nasty sexual deviance behaviors and, you know, natural way of being. Imagine if it's true, how many other victims ain't out there? How many victims that have been crying out for years or wanted to be heard were probably scared because they felt that their lives were going to be threatened, that they were going to get touched, that one of the family members was going to get hurt, so they got threatened as well in that level. Who knows? Who knows if T.I. threatened these women? Who knows if T.I. told these women, if y'all ever say anything, I'm going to put your ass to sleep and I'm going to turn y'all TV off? Who knows this? But it's allegedly. And T.I. already said it. No, these women are lying. These women, all they wanted was a bag. These women ain't never were forced. I never drugged them. Me and my wife never did that to them. But it's 20 sexual assault cases. 20. And 50, once again, if it is to come out to being true, and if you show the paperwork and the documentations and everything that the alleged victims and Sabrina, who is accusing Tiny and T.I. of being this predatory of monsters, is to come out being real, why you don't do a documentary about Donald Trump, like I said before? Why you don't do a documentary about Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and others within the government that you know that are like that? Why? Why is only black people 50 Cent? Why is only black brothers and sisters? Why? I'll tell you why. Because if you expose a billionaire friend that you know within the industry, that'll be your last. And I know you know a lot of disgusting motherfuckers like that in the industry. 50. Remember in the beginning of your career, how you came out with dildos on fucking interviews? You forgot that, 50? You used to come out with dildos in your interviews, 50. I ain't forget about that. So what skeletons are you hiding in the closet? How did you get so famous so quick? How did you become the celebrity and the phenomenon that you did? You had to do rituals, if that's the case. If you're going to put out T.I. and Tiny, and them already facing 20 sexual assault cases, and if it comes out to being real, what are you hiding yourself, 50 Cent? What type of dude are you? Since you already been declared a woman beater, since you already been declared as, you know what I'm saying, being a lighter bug, you know what I'm saying? Because your baby mama stated, this motherfucker tried to kill me and his son. This motherfucker burned down the house because the Supreme Court allowed me to stay in the house. And he wanted me out the house, but the Supreme Court rejected his motion and allowed me to stay there with Marcus. And because he wanted me out of there so bad, he tried to kill me and his son. So what secrets are you hiding, sir? And like I said, you have every right to do whatever you want to do. It's your life, it's your perspective, it's your narrative. But 50, why it's only with black brothers? That is my question again. Why you only do it to black brothers? Why you don't do it to Donald Trump again? Why you don't do it to billionaires and other celebrities that are government officials? You only do it to black brothers, man. And I've seen it. P. Diddy, fuck him. I don't care about him. Jay-Z, now T.I. and Tiny. I mean, come on, man. Why you don't do it to government officials? And Donald Trump should be your main fucking documentary in doing. Donald Trump, the fake ass president that we got today. You know how many women have accused Donald Trump of this shit? You know how many women he's lied on and said, nope, they're lying, nope, they're lying, nope, they're lying. But you hear him saying, oh, you could grab them by the pussy. You could do whatever you want with them. You know what I'm saying? Or you could just go ahead and go to Rent a Center, get them some sofas and couches, and they'll suck your dick. And I mean, the things that this man be saying about women. And he just, I think it's about a year ago, this man had to give almost $90 million in settlements to 3 different women. So why you not putting Donald Trump out there too? Why you not putting other government officials and billionaires that you know about, 50? Come on, 50, you in the industry. You have that pull. You got that type of perception. But instead, Nah, I'm not finna do my handler like that. Fuck that. I'm gonna do it to T.I. and Tiny. I'm gonna do it to Jay-Z like I did it to P. Diddy. And I'm gonna do it to other black celebrities because, hey, if I decide to go with the other genre, it's gonna destroy everything I built. So instead of being Curtis Jackson, you want to keep that 50 Cent persona. You want to keep that 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying, altitude and gratitude to where you're not exposed and being a woman beater or a woman savager. So you want to go ahead and destroy T.I. And I'm going to be honest with you. If T.I. is again found guilty and is accused and he really is that way, I will lose my respect for T.I. and I will never listen to him again. But let me tell you something. You have a lot of skeletons in your closet and somebody's out there watching you and they will reveal it. When they get sick and tired enough of you, and when the industry gets sick and tired of you, they're gonna do you exactly like they did Drake. Believe it. 50, did you forget what they did to Drake? They're gonna do it to you too once they get tired of you. But right now you're in good hands because you're only doing it to black brothers. You're not doing it to Donald Trump. You're not doing it to any government officials. You're only doing it with your black brothers. And once again, like I said, fuck P. Diddy. His nasty ass. He should stay in prison for the rest of his life for all I care about. But be fair. Be sincere. Be humble enough to say, you know what? Let me do documentaries of all people that I know that are like that. And Donald Trump is the main one. Donald Trump is that sick. You know how many women has accused Donald Trump? More than 100 women or more. And he's already settled with most of them. Or, you know, I don't want to exaggerate, with a portion of them, with a percentage of them. He's already settled. And the reason why is because the government don't want to look that way. Listen, let me tell you something, 50. You're playing a very dangerous game. And it's a game that you probably won't be eligible or even valuable to even afford when it comes to them people turning on you. I understand you have a mission. I understand you have your ways of doing your things and conducting things that you do and your own, perspective and narratives. But when your handler decides to turn on you, the same people that give you your paycheck decides to turn on you, you're going to look just like Drake or even worse. There is no telling how much more or how much more evidence they trying to gather up on you. So when they get tired of you, they'll do a documentary called Surviving 50 Cent Curtis Jackson. Believe me, 50, don't think that they're not watching you. Don't think that they don't want to do a documentary of you. The industry is literally praying for your downfall. But since you're doing exactly what your handlers want you to do, they're happy with you now. It's like an industry plan. And we all understand that once that comes into terms, there's nothing you can do. Look at Drake once again. Look what Drake is going through once again. So let's say these 20 sexual assault cases that T.I. and Tiny are accused, allegedly, are true. Not only will they lose everything, but get ready because they're going to do the same thing to you. Look what they did to Tupac, man. Look what they did to Lupe Fiasco. Look what they did to Prodigy. Look what they did to Pusha T. Because once you expose them for what it is, they want to get you out the way. Look what they did to Michael Jackson. Look what they did to Prince. They push you out the way. So, without further ado, I'm going to end this live by saying this. Whatever you do in life, 50, just get prepared and ready. Because it will come back to haunt you. Karma is a motherfucker. And if T.I. is really guilty of everything that you're going to put in this documentary, that's something that T.I. is going to have to live with for the rest of his life. That's something that T.I. and Tiny are going to have to ask God for forgiveness for. And the consequences and repercussions are going to be deadly, are going to be life stunning and suffering. It's going to be to where it won't be no coming back from that. Because once everybody starts to turn from you because of what the media are going to, portray and perpetrate and make it seem and betrayal in every type of shape, way, or form, it's going to make it seem that it's the handler that made all that happen. And the people that back up the handlers that made that happen. Remember, the government is the biggest gangsters and the biggest gang in the fucking United States. Don't ever get that twisted, 50 Cent. You know that better than me, bruh. You've been in the industry long enough to understand the fucking consequences and repercussions that most suffer when it comes to handlers or the government itself torturing people and destroying people's careers and fucking lives, and especially their personal lives. And with that, 50, I just like to ask you one question. Since you like doing that to only your brothers, how would you feel when your handler or another person that's within your own race does that to you? Are you gonna be crying and say, man, I'm your brother, man. Why you doing that to me, man? Ha ha. You net. No, you're not. You're gonna be like, damn, bruh. You see how your brothers try to destroy you? You see that a brother comes up or a brother shining or a brother made it out the hood and they try to destroy you because they jealous and envious? That's exactly what everybody else who don't like you is thinking about you right now. But these allegations of T.I. and Tiny are serious, very serious. 20 sexual assault cases. Bro, every time I mention that, bro, it makes me feel, ugh. 20 sexual assault cases. And and 50 Cent is willing to bring actual details, where, who, what, when, how, and also bringing in all the alleged victims within the documentary itself, along with Sabrina, who was the first one to charge T.I. with all these sexual, assaults allegations, and with Tiny as well. So we are going to sit back and wait. And I know me, Carcino, and Ticket TV and others will bring y'all the news as soon as we find out what's going on. But this is diabolical, y'all. 50 Cent is preparing. He's sitting back quietly, already preparing the documentary, Surviving T.I. and Tiny. My thing is this. 50, when it's your turn, when somebody does a documentary of you, what are you going to say about that? Are you going to contradict that you're a woman beater? Are you going to contradict that you literally allegedly tried to kill your wife and first child in that burning home? Are you going to contradict that? Are you gonna laugh? you know how you do that evil laugh. You net. That's gonna be your introduction into your own fucking documentary, huh? I don't know, 50. You playing a dangerous game, bro. You're playing a dangerous game, dog, and it's only gonna get worse. And now you dropping this documentary, it further lets me know that when it comes for you to destroying your own brothers, you'll do whatever it takes. I want to see you do the same thing with Donald Trump. I want to see you do the same thing with Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. I want to see you do the same thing with other governor officials. Why you don't do that with them? Why? And we know that Donald Trump is this disgusting. We know that Donald Trump is a true sexual monster predator. Why you don't do documentaries on him, bruh? Why? But I guess, when it comes to making your handler happy, you do what you have to do to make your handler happy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is, Your handler will always be happy as long as you don't go against the grain, 50. So doing this to T.I. and Tiny is going to make you sleep well and good at night until it's done to you. And you only do it to black brothers once again. I keep repeating it because that's all I see. I see you only do that to black brothers. Do that to Donald Trump. Do that to government officials, man. Why you don't do that with government officials, sir? Why? Why you don't do that to disgusting billionaires that within the fucking government or the industry itself that I know 50, but instead you only want to do it to black brothers. God damn it. It's sickening. It's sickening to see that you are conducting yourself in this behavior. But now again, I don't want to take away if Tiny and T.I. are them type of people. That's a devastating loss for them, their careers, what they built together. They're going to lose contracts. They're going to lose everything. Why? Because the law doesn't play about these charges. And especially 20 fucking sexual assault cases. 20! Bro, that is insane. 20? That's insane, bro. That's insane for real, man. I don't even know what to call it, but I tell you one thing. If it ever comes out that they are that way, not only are they going to lose a big fan base, not only are they going to lose brand deals, not only are they going to lose promotion deals, not only are they going to lose a lot of what they built, themselves, like businesses to the side that has nothing to do with the industry or the music industry, but they are going to end up losing more of what 50 is bargaining to do this fucking documentary. And if, let's just say it comes out to be a lie, that T.I. and Tiny are not that way, that all these women just lied to get a bag. You know how fucked up that's going to make you look, 50 Cent, into destroying a brother and a sister just because you didn't want to join no verses and you disrespected that man because you didn't want to do the verses? And then because you put out, a mother and a wife out there, and T.I. checked his son about it. Yes, he did. T.I. checked young Harris King about it and said, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You don't disrespect a damn mother like that. What is wrong with you? But that's how kids are. When you talk about their mothers, bro, what you think is going to happen? Come on. We're in the 2000 eras, bro. If it would have been in the 80s or 90s, they would have put you to sleep. But at least they rapping. At least they just talking. But you dropping documentaries now. You doing memes. You don't do rapping no more. So just imagine, 50. Just imagine if someone is just sitting behind the scenes, waiting to do a documentary about you, waiting to expose you the way that you are exposing black brothers. And imagine if it's a white brother or any other genre brother that decides to expose you for what you have exposed brothers for. And once again, fuck P. Diddy. I don't care about P. Diddy. What you did to P. Diddy, hey, that is so fucking amazing. But do that to Donald Trump too. Why you don't do it to Donald Trump? Why you don't do it to government officials? It's like a lot of the world feels that you only attacking your own culture, that you only attacking them because of your handler. And your handler, if he sees that you go against the grain and decide to expose them, they're going to expose you just like they did with Drake. And guess what, 50? There's no escaping that. You can't escape what you created. You can't escape something that you yourself has abide and agreed not to disagree, but to destroy and annihilate your so-called opponents, your so-called ops, or a person that you got beef with. So with that being said, what are you going to do when it's your turn? Because 50, don't think because you're rich and famous that they just have you in the pedestal. They just proud because you following rules. They just proud because they know that when your day comes, there's nothing that you can't do. And your fallout will be greater than every other fallout that you have exposed. And believe me when I tell you, it's not going to be gratified. It's not going to be celebrated. It's going to be a chokehold. It's going to be you suffocating, grasping for oxygen, choking, with no type of effect. And the weakness is going to perpetrate you and betray you in ways that you've never felt before in your life. So with that being said, you need to understand the gravitation and the rules of it all, because you doing that to destroy somebody's life, destroy somebody's career, destroy somebody's legacy, destroy somebody's way of living his everyday life. Being a father, being a husband, you know what I'm saying? But imagine if it's done to you. How would you accept it? How would you appreciate it? How would you abide by that if it's done to you? And to be honest with you, I don't see you caring one bit. But when it comes to people like me, Ticket TV, Carcino, and others that are exposing this and bringing news and bringing clarity to everybody of what's going on, it's going to mean a lot, because we are the ones reporting it, and we are the ones telling you. Since you like to expose black brothers only, why is it that you're not exposing government officials? Why is it that you're not exposing presidential campaign members and billionaires that are this type of way, that you know, that you have come across, that you shake hands to, that you do events and festivals with, and even do movie gatherings with? Why is it that you are pausing and you are rejecting and regretting the fact that you can be more acknowledged and more respected if you expose everybody, not just pick a genre, just not pick a race to do this too, but you're doing it because you want to keep your handler happy, and they are happy with you because they're getting away with it, just like you allowing Donald Trump and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and others that are millionaires and billionaires getting away with. You are allowing it, 50. So I just want to say, you don't have the heart that Tupac had. Tupac exposed this, and look what happened to him. He paid with his life. Tupac was not afraid to mention what was going on with the government. Just like, look what happened to Malcolm X. Look what happened to Dr. King. Look what happened to so many activists that was fighting the government. They paid with their life. And you that have a big fan base, you that are that is a millionaire, and you have the fucking pull to do it, you deciding not to because you're afraid of it. You don't want to be exposed in that type of world. And I know you got skeletons in your closet, 50. I know you do. But your handler is telling you, go ahead and do this to your own peoples, your own race, because if you do it to us, your life is over. Let's call it for what it is, man. The truth is the truth. And we need to examine that. We need to put everything in perspective, puzzle everything in, and you know what I'm saying? Really bring out the truth of what's really going on and why you're moving the way that you're moving and why you're doing what you're doing. And to be honest with you, I only see you attacking one race. I only see you attacking one culture. You're not attacking government officials. You're not attacking whites. You're not attacking other people that have to do with the Epstein files, just like P. Diddy and just like others. You're doing it only to your own race. And I see it as a disrespect, bro. Me being Latin and black, I'm calling you out for what it is. And there should be no reason why you should not have the heart and courage of you saying, man, I need to expose everybody. If that's the case, let me go ahead and put everything out there. The world needs to know who these fucking sick ass people are. But instead, you just lining up people that you feel that your handlers will be happy about. And that's what your handlers are happy about. You exposing your own brothers. Once again, fuck P. Diddy. I don't care about P. Diddy. That's good. What happened to him? He should have gotten caught longer than that. But they let him get away until he decided to fuck with the handlers that were paying him hundreds of millions of dollars. That's why P. Diddy got fucked. They're happy with you because you're doing exactly what they want you to do. You're following rules. You're following regulations. So they're happy with you, 50. Until you fuck up. Until they see that they're going to get tired of you. And they acknowledge that to you. And then they expose you like they did Drake. That's when you're going to start seeing, damn, I fucked up in major ways. But you don't see that right now because they are happy with your doing. They're happy with your whereabouts and how you destroying your own culture. So they're happy. They're smiling. They're giggling right now. And I don't want to hear nobody talking about, oh, no, you wrong about 50 Cent. 50 Cent be talking about other people. He be talking about other races. No, the fuck he don't. Show me evidence and proof where 50 Cent has done documentaries on Donald Trump, on Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, other government officials, billionaires, and millionaires that have to do with the Epstein files. Show me evidence and proof. Like Cat Williams, I'll wait. Exactly my point. There is no other documentaries that 50 Cent has done on other celebrities that are within the different genre. No, he hasn't. And I see a lot of people defending 50. Man, 50 that man. 50 that real nigga. Yeah, 50 don't play that. Yeah. If it's to destroy your own culture, well, damn. Y'all like to see your own culture being destroyed if that's the case. Do it with everybody. Everybody that's implemented in them sick activities should be brought out and should be exposed. You know? But it just comes to show you that that's the world that we're living in. But I'm going to go ahead and say this and end this live. It's sad that you, as powerful as you are, but to the handlers, you're only a little mini-me. You're nothing compared to what your handlers have. And because of that, you feel manipulated enough. But you're obligated by them to do exactly what you're intended to do. Not what you can't do, but what you need to do to keep them happy. And you're keeping them very happy. You're doing exactly what handlers want you to do. You're doing exactly to stay on top. Because your rapping right now is not what it is. And for you to literally say that the documentary will be exposing 20 different assault cases when it comes to sexual assault cases to T.I. and Tiny is diabolical. It's diabolical. Real shit. But that's just what it is, man. And I don't think the narratives are going to change anytime soon. This is exactly what 50 is determined to do. This is exactly what 50 is prophesizing and, you know what I'm saying, really engaging into doing. And I'm going to be honest with you. If that's the way that he's going about it to destroy T.I., it's just exactly what 50 is going to do. And once again, if T.I. and Tiny are guilty of them 20 assault, sexual assault cases that 50 is going to bring to the documentary, and what Sabrina allegedly accused T.I. of doing, how many other victims are out there as well? T.I., get ready to lose everything, man. Get ready to lose your life, your career, and everything that you built and work hard for you and your family. Get ready to experience that downfall. Like P. Diddy, if you really are, found guilty and really are guilty of the 20 sexual assault cases that 50 Cent is going to put in the documentary. You see, 50 Cent knew if Sabrina would have taken that settlement, there would have been no more of a chance for her to present the evidence and proof and the documentation and paperwork within the documentary. So 50 Cent reached out to her and said, don't take that settlement. Nah, don't take that settlement. Let me do this documentary. And she's willing to do the documentary. They're already working on it. That's why 50 Cent has been so quiet lately. That's why nobody has heard 50 Cent even said anything. That's why 50 Cent is not even obligating Sabrina to even do, her little lies or whatever the case may be for her to exploit and fucking expose T.I. and Tiny the way that she was at one time. He told her, remain silent. I got this. Don't worry about it. But we also need to reach out to the other so-called victims so we can go ahead and have a stronger documentary. We can have a more perspective and a more believable documentary with paperwork and things to the nature to where nobody can just turn around and say, damn, 50 Cent just made this shit up. 50 Cent just clout chasing. 50 Cent is just doing this because of him losing to T.I. and his kids. No. He's actually doing this to have T.I. by the throat, to actually destroy T.I.'s whole fucking integrity, life, career, rapping career, acting career, his fucking brand, his name brand, everything. That's what 50 Cent is working on doing as we speak right now. He wants to destroy and annihilate anything that has to do with T.I. and anything that has to do with T.I. And man, I think this is the longest live I've done about, 50 Cent and T.I. beef. And I'm going to tell you something. T.I. did came out and said that his son was wrong. You know what I'm saying? For him wearing 50 Cent deceased mother t-shirt on, you know what I mean? And other ways, and also saying that this is going too far, that this is too much. But that's it. 50 Cent already made up his mind, T.I. He's going along with the documentary. He wants to destroy your life. He wants to destroy you in every category, which way are possible. And there's nothing that nobody can do to stop him. And especially his handlers are making sure that he proceeds with this documentary. And the only thing you can do, T.I., is just sit back and watch. Because not only is 50 Cent is coming out with the documentary, but he's also going to bring out all the other alleged victims that are accusing you of these 20 sexual assault cases. So it's multiple women. It's not just one or two women. It's multiple women that are accusing you and Tiny of forcing them and drugging them and taking advantage of them. And that right there is not only a statement, it's not only breaking news, but it's also devastation. And it's also life-threatening and life circumstantial to where it can destroy you periodically, T.I. It can dismantle you in levels and ways that you can never imagine. And that's exactly what 50 Cent is aiming at, to destroy your soul, destroy your life, destroy your career, destroy everything that you worked so hard for throughout your whole career. And not only that, but 50 Cent understands if he doesn't do it, his handlers are going to be mad. But once again, just me clarifying and not being biased, 50 Cent, why you don't do that with Donald Trump? Why? Why you don't do that with government officials? Why you don't do that with everybody? Why it's only your own black brothers? Why you only destroying your own black brothers? Mr. 50 Cent? Why can't you do that with everybody else? Talk about everybody that is involved in these heinous fucking sick ass crimes and sexual fucking assault activities and fucking participations and freak offs and shit like that. Why is only your brothers that you're talking about? Because you need to make your handlers happy. If your handlers ain't happy, then how the fuck you get paid? How the fuck you make the money that you're making? You're not gonna make it. So without further ado, people, me, Ticket TV, Carcino, and several others will keep you updated with more that comes along. Because in these following days, and 50 being quiet, to be able to come out with this documentaries and all the victims that are accusing T.I. and Tiny is going to be diabolical. You know what it is? That a man and a woman is facing 20 sexual assault cases. If it would have been anybody with no money, they would have thrown the key away. They would have gotten life in prison. They would have been in prison for the rest of their life. But money talks. And Sabrina was willing to take a settlement from Tiny and T.I. But 50 Cent reached out and said, don't take it. If you take it, you lose. Then you can never reopen the case. You can never, you know what I'm saying, go to trial again. And you end up losing more than what you can gain. And that's exactly why 50 is so diabolical. 50 Cent said, oh, okay, you want to diss me in tracks, huh? Well, you know what? I'm going to diss you in your personal life. I'm going to bring your personal life up to date. I'm going to tell the world the type of sick individual and you and your wife are enforcing women and drugging women and taking advantage of them as a sexual predator of a monster. You and your wife are. But guess what? He's only doing it with brothers. He's only doing it with black brothers. And that's the thing that gets to me about 50 Cent. And we all know why. He wants to make his handlers happy. So without further ado, you know what I mean? We all understand that if this gets to a point where T.I. has no escape, where T.I. has no justification, where T.I. has nowhere to run, and he has to face these allegations and face them like a man, and if he is guilty along with Tiny of these fucking sexual assaults, which is 20 counts, 20 different counts of sexual assault, T.I.'s losing, man. He's losing everything. And there's nothing that nobody can say. You know what I'm saying? Who is 50 Cent is going to attack next once he's done with this documentary with T.I. and Tiny? Is it going to be another brother? Because I know damn well he's not going to do a documentary about Donald Trump or about Hillary Clinton or about Bill Clinton or about government officials or about billionaires and millionaires that are sick just that way, allegedly, or what the victims and Sabrina are accusing T.I. and Tiny of. I know he's not going to do it. So with that in perspective and with that further ado, y'all do your own research. Y'all see what's really going on. You know, it shouldn't be me telling y'all or Ticket TV or Carcino. Do your own investigation. See what's going on. It's 20 different sexual assault cases that T.I. and Tiny are facing. The body count of victims, I don't know. But I know that it's multiple. It's multiple women that said that T.I. took advantage of them. That T.I. drugged them. That T.I. basically drugged them to a point that they had no consciousness. And he did what he did. But this is the diabolical part of it all. 50 Cent is trying to find out if his kids had any participation in these sexual assault allegations and wrongdoing of T.I. and Tiny that are being accused of. Did they have any participation? Did they participate in these nasty acts with their parents? That is the diabolical part about the whole thing. And guess what? Nobody's gonna stop 50 Cent, bro. When 50 sets his mind into doing something this diabolical, there's nothing that nobody can do. Believe me when I tell you, it's only gonna get more disturbing, more disgusting, more revealing, more, to a point where that, hey, some people might get hurt with this. Some people might get touched. Some people might get drawn blood on them because of how far this is going now. And this is not just any rap battle or any just beef that you can handle in the streets. This is life circumstances. This is life and death situation. This is losing your life, your career, going to prison, losing everything you built. So T.I. now is in a position, along with his wife, that they probably on the urge of losing everything if this documentary hits hard. If this documentary, intends to make people flip and make all the people that have businesses and contracts with Tiny and T.I. flip on them. And they're going to lose brand deals, contract deals, business deals, real estate deals. It's going to hurt them, not only financially, not only personally, but it's going to affect them for the rest of their lives. And they're not going to be trusted by anybody when it comes down to doing business or to conducting any type of, personal investments or any type of, that type of perspective. Because 50 Cent is aiming for that goal. I want to fuck you up, T.I. I want to destroy you in every way which possible. I want to destroy your family. I want to destroy everything you built. That's exactly what 50 Cent is aiming at. And believe me when I tell you, when you have 20 sexual assault cases, you can make a case about that. You can literally have people turn on you in a way, if it's found out to being true, if it's found out that paperwork and documentation and that the, alleged victims present evidence and proof about it, your life can be destroyed in a matter of seconds, dog. Your life can be destroyed in a matter of seconds. Just the same love that everybody had for you at that time, they can turn around and hate you even faster. So believe me when I tell you, T.I. has a lot to be worried about right now. T.I. has a lot to be concerned about now. This is not rapping beef no more. This is not get on verses. This is about him losing credibility, his stability, his life, his career, his family, looking at prison time. I'm telling you, this is something that he wasn't expecting for 50 to flip out and do. But we all should know how 50 Cent is. 50 Cent is not going to rap no more. 50 Cent is not going to get on no booth and rap against monsters like Mr. T.I. when it comes to fucking freestyling and battling. But we all know that 50 Cent had this shit up his sleeves. Some people said that it wasn't true, that he wasn't going to come out with the documentary, that it was all cap, it was all bullshit. Shit. He just announced. The reason why I'm staying quiet is because I'm working on the documentary Surviving T.I. and Tiny. So I hope that you don't lose album sales. I hope that it doesn't mess up your tour. And you're going to need a PR team by the time I'm done with you, Mr. T.I. That's exactly what 50 Cent wrote in his, I believe it's in his TikTok or Instagram. So basically, this is what I'm telling y'all peoples, my peoples out there. This is a life and death situation for T.I. This is a real concern and very important and degrading, but scrutiny and also a fucked up situation that T.I. is facing right now. And there's nothing that they can do to stop 50 Cent. But my thing with 50 Cent is, if you're doing it to T.I. like you did to Puff Daddy, like you did to Jay-Z, why can't you do that to Donald Trump? Why can't you do that with other government officials? If you're going to put your own brothers out there, why you don't put everybody else that's this type of way that you are allegedly and exposing T.I. and Tiny of being just like P. Diddy? It should be no type of discrimination. It should be no racism in that. But you know what? Since you got a handler that you got to make happy, the one that's paying you your check, And that's the reason why you haven't done no documentaries on Donald Trump. You haven't done no documentaries on the other genre because you don't want to end up looking like Drake. That's exactly why you don't want to do it. And this is my thing. If T.I. ends up being found guilty, if T.I. ends up going to court and all the victims are presented and testify, do you think that T.I. is going to win that? Of course not. You know why? Because T.I. is very well known when it comes to going to jail, when it comes to seeing the judge, when it comes to doing time. And the judge told him, if I ever see you again in my court, and if you are found guilty, and even if it's trespassing, I'm gonna give you some hard time. So imagine 20 sexual assault cases that him and Tiny are facing, and now 50 doing a documentary. Do you know how much time the judge is going to give him and Tiny if they're found guilty? I'm gonna tell you something. Every sexual assault case, let's just say, for example, Ella Nails is lewd and lascivious. If you go to court and you lose, it's 15 years mandatory in prison. 15 years. So imagine a sexual assault. It's 20. It's 15 or 20 years if you lose just one case with one individual. So imagine 20 of them. If you put that in perspective, you're looking at your whole life. Being in prison for your whole life if you lose. And 50 Cent knows exactly what he's doing. 50 Cent knows if just one or two of the 20 sexual assault cases T.I. and Tiny lose, that's enough to give them 15 or 20 years apiece. I'm going to tell y'all like this. Just for exposing yourself in Florida, that's 10 to 15 years if you lose in trial. In Georgia, I believe it's what? A year to 5 years if you lose. So put 20 sexual assault, which is not exposing, it's actually you aring a victim without their consent and drugging them, taking advantage of them. They're going to lose their life, bro. If they are found guilty. And now 50 dropping this documentary, it's going to make it a whole lot worse for T.I. and Tiny. But just imagine if they are innocent and they still are found guilty because the alleged victims and 50 Cent get together and decide to fucking narrate stories that are lies and bullshit. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in this perspective and in these type of cases, my boy. Nobody is safe when it comes to this type of shit. And 50 Cent knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. 50 Cent ain't stupid. But 50, what about if it happens to you? What about once Hollywood and everybody gets tired of you and they turn their backs on you and decides to do a documentary about you? What are you going to do? And trust me, 50, you're not special to Hollywood. They just happy because you got your handlers happy. They're happy because you're doing exactly what they reprimand you to do. So let me tell you this, 50. You can go ahead and do everything you want to do to destroy T.I., which you only do it to your brothers. You don't do it to Donald Trump. You don't do it to any government officials. You don't do it to anybody that's besides a different genre. But it's going to come back to bite you in your ass, bro. It's going to come back to destroy you. It's going to come back because karma's a bitch. And when karma hits, it hits 10 times worse on what you did to anybody else. And believe me when I tell you, the strategy that you're using is diabolical. You might put a man in prison for the rest of his life, losing his kids, his wife, everything he worked hard for. And let's just say that it is all true that you put in a documentary about Tiny and T.I. Then you know what? That's another valid documentary that you'll be able to sleep at night and say, damn, I did a good job. But you only do that with your brothers, man. You only do that with your brothers. You don't do that to no other race, man. You don't do that to no other race. And that's my problem with you, 50, again. That is my problem with you. My bad, y'all. My bad. My bad. I had to pick up a phone call. You know what I'm saying? My bad. But yeah, man. 50 Cent, what you doing, man, is diabolical, bro. And I know T.I. right now, like I said, is not even himself right now. He's beside himself right now. He is probably losing his fucking mind right now because he understands that this right here can destroy him. This right here can fucking destroy everything he worked so hard for. And for people not to acknowledge that, for people not to see that, 50 Cent, I gotta say this to you. If you do this, like I know that you are already, to destroy his life and destroy Tiny as well, just remember what you do to your brothers. Like I said, I don't care about P. Diddy. Fuck P. Diddy. But you only seem to do this to your own brothers and your own culture. But just remember that it will be done to you one day as well. It will be highly sufficiently done to you. And it will be done worse to you. Look what Drake is going through. You know what I'm saying? So don't think you're the red light special. Don't think that you're the fucking special motherfucker in Hollywood that's going to get away and not be exposed for being a woman beater. You exposed that yourself. You said it yourself. You're a woman beater. You said that yourself, homie. So now that you're doing this to T.I. and Tiny, get ready because it's going to come at you. And it's going to come to you when you at least expect it. And the fucked up thing about it is that just because you could not beat T.I. in a verse battle that you agreed to, and because you disrespected Tiny, and then they just decided to come back at you with fucking bars. They decided to come at you in a nuclear way because you disrespected Tiny. Now you want to do a documentary called Surviving T.I. and Tiny. And you got allegedly 20 sexual assault cases that T.I. is facing. And you want to put the alleged victims and Sabrina in the documentary. That's why Sabrina didn't take the settlement, because you reached out to her. Wow, bro. That says a lot, man. It says a lot when it comes to somebody at that fucking level. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to handle your shit like a fucking man. You're supposed to handle your shit like a real G. You're supposed to handle your shit like T.I. handled his part and came out in verses and said, you know what, bro? I don't do memes. I do verses. But also, if this is happening to be true, you know what I'm saying? That you and Tiny, out of these 20 sexual assault cases are true, T.I., just know that you're going to lose your life. You're going to lose everything. You're going to lose everything you worked so hard for. You're going to lose every stability and every fucking brand that you worked hard for. I don't care what nobody says. It's just the way it goes. And especially when it comes to the law. And especially when it comes of you being charged with these heinous and horrendous crimes. This is something not to laugh about. This is something to take very fucking serious. This is something that can end your career, that can end your life, and that can end your freedom periodically. They're not playing about this, T.I. And I know that you right now are probably looking at this and saying, man, this nigga's got to be joking. This man's got to be kidding me. Nah, bro. You know 50 Cent, T.I., and you know he ain't playing about this shit. That's why he, as a person, is willing to take out his own brother, to be able to sleep good at night. Look what he did to Jim Jones. Look what he did to P. Diddy. Look what he did to Jay-Z. And look what he's done to several others. Ja Rule and so many others. This brother is not playing about this. He is literally aiming for your heart and soul. He's aiming for your freedom. He's aiming to put you in prison. Don't 50 Cent got a show or has a fucking Fox show that has to do with police and shit like that. Somebody told me that he has a police show. It just comes to show you. This man wants to take your whole life away. He wants to destroy you, T.I. And if it is true that you did that to these victims, you know what, T.I., then you're going to have to pay the price, bro. You're going to have to go ahead and do the time that the judge gives you. And remember, the last judge that you saw told you, if I ever see your face again, and if you're accused of any felony, I'm going to make sure you do the maximum. And when it comes to these type of charges, it ain't no joke. These charges, these sexual assault charges, hey, them charges are serious. The fucking law don't play about these charges, T.I., man. And you got 20 sexual assault charges that you're facing right now? These people ain't playing about that shit. And when it comes into today's laws, and then 50 doing a documentary and bringing out the victims to talk about the details of who, what, and who was there, and what took place, and what happened, and who got drugged, and especially if there were minors within that participation. Listen, T.I., you're looking at a world of trouble if all these fucking cases, the sexual assault cases, which is 20 accounts that you're facing, is true. You're never going to see the daylight again if you're found guilty. You're never going to see the daylight in your life. And that's something that you should take seriously. Get your lawyers ready. Strap up, because 50 Cent is not going to let up. 50 Cent is not going to let this go. 50 Cent is going to do whatever it takes to diminish you, your name, your family, everything. I'm telling you, T.I., this shit ain't no joke, bruh. And you know what, 50? I come to tell you again, you only doing this shit because it benefits you. You're destroying another brother if it all comes out to being real. And I'm going to tell you one thing. You should do that with Donald Trump as well. You should do that with other billionaires and other millionaires within the industry that you know that are this sick and that participate in these type of fucking allegations and these type of fucking freak-offs. You know what I'm saying? But you only want to do that to your brothers. You only want to do that to those that you know that you could get away with. Because if you do it to Donald Trump, if you do it to Bill Clinton, and if you do it with others that are bigger than you, you're going to lose everything. Just like Drake for trying to fight UMG. And that's why, T.I., I'm letting you know right now, you better strap up with lawyers. You better strap up and get ready. Because when that documentary drops, the law is going to be looking at that shit. Yeah, I'm being real. You know what I'm saying? And thank you for coming, you know what I'm saying, into the chat. You feel me? I'm just letting T.I. know, if these 20 sexual assault cases are found out to be true, you're losing everything, T.I. And if the judge finds you guilty because of the documentary that 50 Cent's gonna drop, you're losing everything, bro. You will never see the sun in your life. You will never see your kids. Only through behind bars or phone calls. You're not ever gonna get out, man. And the judge already told you, if I ever see you again and you get another felony, I'm giving you years in prison. And 50 Cent is looking at that and he's running with that. And he's going to make sure that he implies that into the documentary. I'm telling you one thing, 50, you should be exposing everybody, bro. Why you only exposing, you know what I'm saying, rappers and moguls that come from the rap industry, and it's only black brothers. You should be exposing everybody. Donald Trump, everybody. Hillary, Bill, billionaires, millionaires, everybody. You should not discriminate at all. But says you need to take care of your handler and make your handler happy. You're only doing that because it benefits you. And that's the sad thing about it, man, that we seen 50 Cent go out like this. But at the same time, too, we should know better. We should know that 50 Cent is this type of dude. We should know that 50 Cent's behave in this type of perspective. We should know that 50 Cent is going to go this low and disrespect his own brother like that again. Once again, I don't care about P. Diddy. Fuck P. Diddy. He deserved everything 50 Cent did to him. And the reason why is because he fucked his baby mama. That's the only reason why 50 Cent really did that shit to Puff Daddy. Because if it was the case, he would have never done a documentary on P. Diddy. Let's just be real. I keep saying that he only going after people that look like him, sick and home. Yeah, facts. You absolutely right, my bro. I've been saying that shit through the whole live. I've been on live almost 2 hours, and I'm gonna continue saying the same shit. He only does that with people that look like him. He don't do that to white people, to Latin people. And let me tell you something. I'm Latin black. I'm Puerto Rican, Cuban black. And, well, I usually say I'm Puerto Rican black, but I got families that are Cuban. And then I got slash family that are Jamaicans and shit like that. But I'm Puerto Rican black. And I'm even telling myself, man, it's sad how he only doing that to his own culture, but he's not doing it with everybody else. Don't you know that the other genre are the most dangerous and most predatory and most sick genre when it comes to shit like this? And I don't want to disrespect my white brothers and sisters, but it's the truth. When it comes to white billionaires, they are the most sickening people because they run quotes and quotes to this type of degree, to this type of nature, to this type of criteria. And guess what? They get away with. Do y'all really think that Epstein is dead? No, Epstein ain't dead. No, Epstein ain't dead. Epstein is alive. They got Epstein somewhere chilling alive. Epstein is not dead. So for 50 doing this, he's making his handlers happy because this is exactly what his handlers want. He's not doing this shit, you know what I'm saying, to make it better for the people out there. You know how many friends that are within the industry that 50 Cent know that behave like this, that are black, that are Latin, that are white, that are Chinese, that are Russians, that come from other different countries, but he don't put them out there because he knows he'll end up losing the battle. But he only does it with his own people. He only does it with his own people that looks just like him. And that's fucked up, man, because people look at it and it's like, oh my God, 50 Cent is making a difference. Look, he's taking out all these sexual predators and all these sexual animals out the way. But you're only doing it with people that look like you. I don't get it. I don't get it, my man. I don't get it. Why can't you do that with everybody? Be fair. Be logical about the shit. Be reasonable about the shit. Be respectful about the shit. If you're going to do it to T.I., if you're going to do it to Puff Daddy, if you're going to do it to Jay-Z, then do it with everybody else. Do it with everybody. Government officials, big athletes, big actors, government officials. Do it with everybody that's like that. Why you only do it with black brothers? It's my complaint with 50 Cent. Why you only do it with people that are your same skin of color? Do you hate black people that much, 50? Do you hate your brothers that much that you don't want to do it to white people, to Latin people? And no disrespect once again. But that's just the way it looks like. It looks like he would do that only with black brothers and sisters but he won't do it with white brothers or any other culture. And that's crazy, dog, because I literally have to sit here and watch how disgusting 50 Cent is with black brothers, but he don't want to do the same with everybody else that's along the Epstein files. I don't give a damn of what color you are. If you are within the Epstein files, you should be exposed. I don't give a damn what color skin you is, but you only want to expose black brothers. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. But I guess that's just the way 50 works. I guess that's what he has to do to get his bag. You understand what I'm saying? I guess that's how he works to be able to be seen good and gratified in front of his handlers. Because remember, just because 50 Cent is famous and is rich doesn't mean that he doesn't have handlers that he has to follow rules and regulations to. Of course he does. Every basketball player, every athlete, every actor, and government official have to take orders from somebody. And 50 Cent is taking orders. He's not doing this shit for himself. And then on top of that, it's disgusting because instead of him respecting the fact that he is doing something that can maybe cause T.I. in losing his family, his kids, his career, his contracts, his real estate contracts, his name brand contracts, his, you know what I'm saying? His royalties, everything. It might lock him up, and especially his freedom. His freedom is the most important thing. And that's what T.I. is aiming for. He wants T.I. to end up and lose his freedom. Why? Because he wants to bring all the alleged victims to the documentary along with Sabrina, who was the first one to allegedly, who was the first one to call T.I. with these allegations of sexual assault, and Tiny as well. So imagine, not only Sabrina, but also all the other victims that are going to come out in this documentary. Don't you think that the law's going to be looking on this? 50 Cent knows that the law's going to be paying attention. 50 Cent knows that the law are going to take notes. He knows that the law is going to be paying attention and take every type of information they can to see if they can charge T.I. and convict T.I. of sexual assault. He has 20, ladies and gentlemen, cases of sexual assault. 20? Man, come on, man. And you think that 50 Cent is just doing this just to do this? No! 50 Cent knows exactly what he's doing. And that's what makes it so diabolical. He understands that without evidence and proof, there's nothing you can do. So 50 Cent is trying to get every evidence and proof there is, to be able to find a way that the law can convict T.I. and Tiny into doing not a year or two, not 2 years or 3, but to doing double-digit years, 20, 25, 30, maybe even life in prison. We're talking about 20 different sexual assault cases. That's 20 counts of sexual assault. 20 counts? You know how much time a motherfucker gets for just one count of sexual assault if he's found guilty? We're talking about 20. Y'all do the math, man. Y'all do the math. And that's what 50's aiming for. 50 wants to destroy that dude in every way which possible that you can think of, y'all. I don't care what nobody says. This is total annihilation, total destruction. He wants to make T.I. and Tiny feel little. He wants to destroy them mentally, physically, emotionally, personally. And when it comes to things like that, and if you're found guilty, even if you're innocent, and if you're found guilty, It's going to take multiple years for you to wait, for you to fight these cases again. And the law is not going to hear it. Already T.I. being a convicted felon and you facing 20 sexual account cases. And if you're found guilty, the judge ain't never will want to hear your mouth or even hear your plea or even hear anything that you have to say once you're found guilty and convicted of 20 sexual assault cases. You might as well throw the key away because they're going to lock you up for life. They're going to make sure that you never come out of prison. You will probably have to pay a galore of money not to even see time. And Sabrina was going to take a settlement, like I said before, from T.I. and Tiny. But 50 Cent reached out to her and said, don't take that settlement money. I want to see that motherfucker drown in jail. I want to see him go to prison. I want to see Tiny and him lose everything. So I want to bring the victims into the documentary along with you, and I want y'all to tell me everything so I can put it in a documentary, and the police can arrest T.I. and Tiny for the 20 counts of sexual assault that they're already facing. Facts. Yeah, man. This shit's gonna get real crazy, dog. It's already getting messy, yo. And 50 Cent knows exactly what he's doing. 50 Cent is not done by a long shot. 50 Cent did this shit intentionally. And he know he wasn't going to come out rapping. So what he did, he let T.I. and the kids do whatever they wanted to do. Let them get their shine. Let them get, you know what I'm saying, their thoughts off or whatever. And now he's going to come out with the documentary. T.I. is very, very much right now vulnerable into losing his whole life. And he's going to lose his whole life if he's found guilty. He's going to lose everything. And that's where 50 Cent is more aiming to making sure that no one ever hears from T.I. in an album, in a song, in a single, nowhere. He wants T.I. to lose his whole life. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. When you got somebody that diabolical that is willing to do that to you, that means they don't even care about their own damn self. They don't. I've been on this live for almost 2 hours and 6 minutes. And this is the longest live I've ever done because, yo, I seen T.I. destroy people and destroy his own color, his own black brothers, more than any other race out there. So if y'all could please share this video, like it, subscribe, and pass it on to other content creators so they can pass it on. And maybe T.I. will see this because T.I. needs to know his ass is in the world of trouble with Tiny right now. They are in trouble. If fucking 50 Cent manages to do exactly in the documentary like he's thinking about progressing and doing and putting in motion, T.I. and Tiny are in big fucking trouble, y'all. And there's nothing that nobody can tell me. If you don't follow the law, if you don't study the law, and if you don't study charges is to this level, then you got a problem. This is what 50 Cent wants T.I. to be worried about now. T.I. right now is standing on eggshells right now because the judge told T.I. this a long time ago. And right now, he's in a place that even if he wants to overturn this and act like this was a dream, he can't do it. And the law's going to be looking at this shit. The law's going to be looking at it. I don't care what nobody says, man. And T.I.'s in the world of fucking shit right now. And with this fucking documentary dropping, it's only going to make it worse. 20 sexual assault cases. That's 20 counts of ours. Don't want to say the whole word because I might get fucking shut down. That's 20 counts of ours, of taking advantage of women without their will, without their consent, drugging them and doing things to them that they did not allow or wasn't consensual to. Do you know how dangerous that is? You know how dangerous it is when you're already in a standard where T.I. is at, and for him right now not to be able to present himself the way that you will want to present yourself in the matter of these cases, but you got somebody else that is now dropping a documentary on you and your wife that you are that type of person, that you are disgusting, a sexual predator with these sexual assaults being a bar within you and your wife that you conducted to so many victims. Do you know how that makes you look? Listen, 50 Cent knows exactly what he's doing. And if people take that shit as a joke, y'all better go ahead and do y'all research. The law don't play about these cases, man. The law does not play around when it comes to sexual assaults or sexual batteries. Even you exposing yourself, they even look at you like if you was a fucking predator. They are not playing about that shit. And 50 Cent has taken the time to gradually but perfecting at the right time to be able to do this documentary, to come out with the victims, to come out with Sabrina, and to literally destroy T.I. forever. That's exactly the aim and the process that 50 Cent is doing to destroy everything. What means Mr. T.I. himself. And that's just a progress now that it's going to take weeks to see what's going to happen. And trust me and believe, T.I. is going to take a major blow because of that. T.I. is going to take a major hit because of that. And Tiny, who I know is going to back up her husband, she also is going to take a major blow to that. So T.I. and Tiny, when this documentary comes out, they both going to take major hits. They both are going to lose a lot. Don't think just because it's alleged that there's a lot of people that are not going to turn on them. There's a lot of people that are going to turn on them. Pray he don't, and it shouldn't have to come to this. But you know what? 50 Cent is making it come to this. 50 Cent is now doing the documentary. So even if it doesn't come to it, the documentary itself is going to destroy T.I. and Tiny in many different ways. You see, he should have been a man about it and just say, yo, before this shit escalates any further, let's not do the verses, dog. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but we still cool. You still my nigga. You know what I'm saying? But no, 50 Cent went about it in a different way. And now, I believe it was intentionally. That's why 50 did that. Because 50 Cent wanted to come out with this documentary. That's why he did what he did. You see, when 50 Cent does something, it's intentional. It's to hurt you. It's to fuck you up in every which way possible you can imagine. So believe me, T.I. was just waiting to press that red button to go ahead and pursue with that documentary because he already knew what T.I. and Tiny was facing. It's not like he didn't know. And once T.I. and his kids exposed, you know, him beating up on women and him having paperwork of, you know, him burning down his baby mama house down with her and Marcus, his first son, being in the crib, that gave 50 Cent even a more leverage to say, now I can be stopped into doing the documentary that I've always wanted to do on T.I. See what I'm talking about? Doesn't it all make sense, y'all? It all makes sense now. Think about it. I don't care what nobody says. Everything I'm saying is making sense. 50 Cent was waiting for the right time. 50 Cent wasn't going to come out with no rapping. He wanted to come out with a documentary all along. So he waited patiently. He waited. He intimidated. He got T.I. and the kids mad by disrespecting Tiny to push it and to make it go even further. And that's why he went quiet for them couple days. And now he's coming out with a documentary. Think about it, y'all. It all makes sense. He wanted to do this. He was waiting on this. He was mastering this for it to happen. And he did exactly what he was supposed to do for it now to come out. So nobody can say, oh, I didn't do this for no reason. I did this for a purpose. I had a purpose in why doing this. We're talking about victims. We're talking about sexual assault allegations. We're talking about drugging women. We're talking about taking advantage of women. Now, T.I. is in a world of trouble. Now, T.I. career might be over. Now, T.I. might lose his freedom once this documentary comes out because the law are going to be watching. Believe that shit. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. It is what it is, man. And I guarantee you, when this documentary comes out, T.I. album sales, T.I. tour numbers are going to fall drastically. Trust me when I tell you this. Hey, April, how you doing? Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate that. Thank you and God bless. God bless the chat and God bless everybody, man. I've been at it for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? And I'm bringing clarity to this, just like Ticket TV, just like Carcino. We are all bringing y'all information of what's going on. And I'm going to tell y'all like this. T.I. is diabolical. And T.I. is facing 20 sexual assault cases. 20. Do you know how devastating that is, y'all? 20? Listen, just one count can give you 10 to 15 years. Imagine 20 if you're found guilty in 20. That means that you will never see the sunlight in your life. That means that you will be scarred for the rest of your life. And 50 Cent waited for the right moment. You know, there had to be a purpose. If you give purpose, then there's a reason. If there's a reason, then there's a motive. If there's a motive, then there's a perspective. If there's a perspective, then there's a what? A closure. And 50 Cent is looking to closure this perspective with the purpose and reason to annihilating T.I. and Tiny for the rest of their lives. So you see, with all that being said, don't y'all think that 50 Cent waited for the right time to drop this documentary? Of course he did. Don't y'all think that 50 Cent waited enough to say, y'all disrespected my mother who's dead? Y'all called me a woman beater? Y'all said that I almost tried to kill my son and my baby mama, allegedly? Well, guess what? I got a documentary, and I'm going to call it Surviving T.I. and Tiny. And I got 20 sexual assault cases and victims in Sabrina that are going to come out in a documentary pointing at T.I. and Tiny of the fucking sexual predator monsters that they really are. Don't y'all think that 50 Cent calculated this well, manipulated this well, that he puts the right buttons to make this happen? Of course he did. Of course. We over here talking about, damn boy, hey, T.I. did that thing, which he did. And then Domani killed 50 Cent with Miss Jackson. I don't care what nobody said. That's what put 50 Cent to sleep. But 50 was just waiting calmly while everybody was just, yeah, oh yeah, 50 Cent, you done. You over with, boy. Yeah. And 50 Cent laughing, ha ha, you net. And now he's coming out with the documentary. God damn it. It perfectly says it all, man. I don't need to go more beyond of what I already have for the past 2 hours of me explaining of how diabolical 50 Cent is. But 50, just know that this will happen to you too. When your handlers get tired of you, you will be exposed as well for being a woman beater and for burning down your baby mama house with your son. Believe me, this will happen to you. You have destroyed a lot of careers by doing documentaries. Don't you think that your handler is watching calmly to doing the same thing to you because they're eventually going to get tired of you too? Huh? All right, bro. Listen, it's coming to an end when it comes to T.I. right now. It's literally coming to an end. And I don't want to say that about T.I. because I fuck with T.I. I love T.I. music, but you know what? If this comes out to being true, that's it. He's done. It's over. There's nothing that T.I. can do. There's nothing that T.I. can do that can change this. There's nothing that T.I. can do to revive this. There's nothing that T.I. can do to, you know what I'm saying, bring any expectations of this. It'll be done for him. It is what it is. But I'm going to end the live, man. I've been off for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and end the live. And for whoever didn't install the live, y'all go back, y'all watch it. Y'all go ahead and check out also Ticket TV and Carcino, who also went live talking about this. And y'all show them love and appreciation. I want to thank the chat, and I want to thank everybody that came in, you know what I'm saying, just looking at my live. And, man, T.I., I pray and hope that you're not guilty, man. I pray and hope that these women are lying on you and also on Tiny, man, because if you are found guilty of these 20 sexual assault cases, that's it, man. You're done. It's over for you. But this is your boy Chico Black. Y'all go ahead, subscribe, like, share, and we'll go from there. Here's your boy, man. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.